Thank you, Mr. Neglia. Good evening, everyone. As we move into springtime, March, April, May, and June, and as our regional and community cases of COVID begin to decline slowly, I feel this is an appropriate time to look again at our attendance schedule and to recommend some adjustments. Board members, what you have on your screen, what our public sees is that this is a timeline of what our decisions have been thus far. We opened on time on September 2nd with students in an A or a B cohort with virtual Fridays for everyone. At that point, our self-contained special education students were attending every day, every week, right from the very beginning of the school year. By November 30th, virtual Fridays were eliminated for elementary and middle school so that each cohort had a Monday through Friday attendance. Middle and high school special education students who were in resource room or inclusion classes began to attend every week, and middle and high school ESL or English language learner students also began to attend every week. By January 19th, when we returned from our holiday break, seniors who were at risk for graduating were invited to attend in person every week, and elementary special education students who were in resource room or inclusion classes also began attending every week. By February 1st, elementary school ESL or English language learner students who were already attending as cohort A or B students also began to attend every week. And so now we're at the point where I have indicated 3 future dates with proposals. The proposal is that for March 1st, which would be Monday coming up, that our high school students who are already attending as cohort A or B students begin to attend every week. And we would still hold on to virtual Friday at the high school. By March 16th, I propose that our middle school students who are already in cohort A or B attending may attend every week. And middle school students are Monday through Friday students. And then by April 12th, which would be the Monday that we return from our spring break, our elementary students who are also in cohort A or B begin to attend every week. And that would let us finish out the school year as we move into May and June and the warmer months with a much fuller attendance and more students enjoying in-person attendance. Want to take a look at the numbers with you because this is really what allows us to stage this combined cohort in the way that I have proposed. At our high schools, you'll see the number of students for both Parsippany Hills High School and Parsippany High School. For cohort A, the number of students who are attending in person, and for cohort B, the number of students attending in person. We've also identified the number of students who attend daily in person, and then you'll see the last 2 percentages in those columns indicate the percentage of remote learners and the total in-person learners. So if we are combining cohort A and B at Parsippany Hills High School, that means that fewer than 30%, less than 30% of the student body would be in the building at one time. And at the high school, same thing, just 29.6%, still under 30%. This is manageable. We are able to find classroom space for the very few classes where those students might go over the capacity of the room. So you'll see here for both high schools, the principals looked at the sections or the classes that would have more than 10 students, and then the sections that would have more than 12 students. And we've been using 12 as the general capacity limit in all of our classrooms. So you'll see at the Hills, there are 3 classes that would need to be relocated, and that can be done. And at the high school, there are 12 classes, including phys ed classes, that would need to be relocated, and that also can be done. If we look at our middle schools using the same chart, at Brooklawn, during cohort A, 134 students are in the building at one point. For cohort B, 144 students are in the building at one point. And then you'll see the in-person daily number at 50 students. So again, if you look toward the very last column, at Brooklawn, if we combine both cohorts and include the students who are already attending daily, 38.4%, less than 40% of the entire student body would be in that building at once. And for Central Middle School, it would be approximately 35% of the student body in the building at once. We asked the principals to take the same look at the number of sections that would have more than 10 students and the number of sections that would have more than 12 students. And you'll see the notes on the far right-hand column that indicates that the principals are able to relocate those classes so that we are still able to maintain social distancing and keep everyone safe without jeopardizing the health of our staff and students. As we move to elementary school, this is where it gets a little trickier. This is data from mid-January, and this will show you the percentage of students who would be attending in person for that school with the combined week A and week B cohorts. And you'll see that it really varies a great deal. We have some buildings like Rockaway Meadow at 57%, and then I have some buildings like Northvale at 20%. While it would have been my preference, board members, to begin the in-person combined cohort with the elementary level first, because I think those are the students we all agree have a harder time with independent learning. If they're at home, they've probably required more parent or caregiver support. But because of this fluctuation in the percentage of students who would be attending with a combined cohort, this requires a lot more planning on our part, and it requires a lot more purchasing of plexiglass dividers to be able to do this safely. If you look at the next slide, I've broken it out for you so that you can see for kindergarten through grade 5 by school, the number of classes that would potentially have more than 12 students if we combine the cohorts. So you'll see that Lake Hiawatha, for example, has 1 kindergarten, 1 second grade, and 1 third grade. If you look at a school like Littleton toward the bottom, 2 kindergartens, 2 first grades, 3 second grades, 1 third, 1 fourth. So there's a lot of planning about bringing furniture back into that room, ordering plexiglass dividers so that we can space students out and make sure that we're adhering to the protocols that were set forth in the road back, which is the New Jersey Department of Education document that school districts are required to follow. So a reminder that when we were working over the summer with our committees and when we opened in September, we were following the guidance set forth in the road back, which was distributed by the Department of Education. There is a mandate in there that says if schools are not able to maintain this physical distance, meaning 6 feet, additional modifications should be in place, including physical barriers between desks and turning desks to face the same direction. At the high school, this currently is not necessary because for the few classes that would be over capacity, a larger area has been found for those. At the middle school, this is currently not necessary because again, a larger classroom area has been found so that we can relocate those few classes. The elementary schools don't have the luxury of all of that extra space. And so we do need to be purchasing plexiglass barriers, and we need the time to be able to set that up, which is why you'll see the later April 12th start date for those children. All of our decisions continue to hinge upon local health conditions So if things start to change in the community, we certainly can go back to a cohort model if we need to. Students who are fully remote must request in writing, or their parents request in writing, their desire to return to in-person status by specified dates, and we'll be putting that in a letter to our families. Approval of these requests will be guided by room capacity and student attendance. And finally, the early dismissal schedule will remain in place until further notice. And so a reminder that our combined cohort attendance for both high schools would begin on Monday. This has been communicated to our parents and our staff. I spoke with students as part of our superintendent student advisory earlier this week, and they were very excited about the prospect of having more students in the building. They felt that from a, first of all, being able to see their teachers every week was a huge attraction for them, and being able to have more students in class and in the building, they felt would really lend to better school spirit and better feeling about being in school. We would begin the combined cohort attendance for both of our middle schools on Tuesday, March 16th. This is Tuesday because Monday, March 15th is an in-service day for our staff. And then we would begin the cohort attendance for all of our elementary schools beginning Monday, April 12th. We are looking at the possibility that some of our elementary schools may not need to have plexiglass dividers purchased at this point. And if they are able to open prior to April 12th, we will communicate that to that particular school's group of families at that point.